This was the first series of narrative images that I found that visually tell a story and allow the viewer to understand the story without captions or text. Emily tells the story of her service dog, Meryl, and shows the viewer what life is like through Meryl's eyes. She captures images of her dog, a food in a bowl, peanut butter on a spoon, a service vest going around Meryl's head, and my personal favorite, just like the one you see here, laying down and hanging out with Emily on a typical lazy afternoon. I think images like these are very successful in terms of telling a story, and having all of them together really creates a continuous narrative. I'm drawn to this photo of the dog's eye view from laying down beside the laptop on the bed, implying that the owner is laying there with the dog and they are spending time together. The camera angle was shot very close to the bed, so much that it seems to be looking up into the room, including the ceiling. Also, the extreme foreground of the laptop is out of focus, which adds balance to the image. The lines created by the keyboard creates a directionality within the image so that the eye of the viewer travels from the extreme foreground all the way to the extreme background, where the main light source is, and then back to the laptop again in the foreground. The attention to small details such as this is what makes this image so successful. One thing that could improve this image is to include the pause, so it gives more of a from the dog's eye feel to it. Though it is composed well enough that one could comprehend what is going on just by looking at it, including the pause would add to the feel of actually looking through his eyes. Another thing that could be improved is a change to the angle in the arm in some of the other photos, such as the peanut butter and the collar photos. They give off a feeling that the photographer is struggling to hold something in front of a camera, rather than the owner trying to hold something in front of the face of a dog. Another thing that I believe could be improved is to think about the background in some of these images. There's an image that has from inside of the cage of the dog with the door cage closed, and it's just the bed, and underneath of the bed there's no detail, there's nothing. It's very boring because it's looking underneath the bed. If it were more like the photo you see here, through the cage of the door on the dog kennel, looking out into the living room where the door and the poster on the door and the chairs and the hat on the wall are, it would create a more successful image and allowing the viewer to create a narrative in her head, his or her head, easier than to just see a blank image with a cage door in front of it. Overall, I think that this narrative is successful and easy to comprehend, and is one of many examples that allow the viewer to think about what the photographer was thinking about and successfully portray what the photographer was trying to get across.